Details on President Akufo-Addo's recent trip to Europe and South Africa. Meanwhile, minority insists it will use all legal means to compel government to come clean on how much it was expended.
Also in this bulletin, COP Dr. George Akufo-Dampare to take over as Inspector General of Police beginning August 1, 2021. We'll speak with a security expert on what this means for the country's security.
So the coming business, Ghana Union of Traders Association pledges to resist any attempt by government to amend the existing Ghana Investment Promotion Center laws to favor foreign traders.
Coming up in sports, after 6 years of suspension, President Akufo-Addo urged to intervene in the Martha Bisa saga with the Ghana Athletics Association.
On the foreign front, Britain and France beef up border patrols in Malta clamp down on illegal migrants on the English Channel.
You're welcome to the program. As of the 18th of July 2021, Ghana has recorded 999,074 coronavirus cases. Out of this figure, 306,000 is still positive and 818 persons have died as a result of the virus, according to the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kuma-Abuaje. The spike is as a result of the non-adherence to the protocols. He said this at a press briefing here in Accra.
It's very clear that the threat of a third wave in Ghana is very real. And I'll give you reasons why the threat is very real. The first is the fact that many countries around us are experiencing an increase in trend, and some of them are already in their third wave. Southern Africa, some of our own neighbors have increased number of cases. During our first wave, that was we had last year, we peaked at about 1,100 cases a day. In some days, we were recording about 1,100 cases. There were also several days where we were recording between 600 and 1,000 cases a day. I know we are not there yet, but if we continue business as usual, we'll be heading there. Currently, as of the 18th of July, we have recorded about 99,974 positive cases with 95,533 recoveries. We have done nearly 1.4 tests. We currently have an active case of 3,618. So you can see that we are really moved from the 2,000 under 2,000 to 3,000 in a very short time. However, our overall positivity still remains 7.2%. And we have recorded 818 deaths. The next slide is the usual graph that doesn't seem to be changing because the hotspots have remained the same. And for us, that is also a good sign that it's not seeping largely into some of the regions and also escalating. It's the same Ashanti, and of course the deeper color is Greater Accra. The next slide is the epic curve. You can see the two waves, two big waves. If you can see, we have two small waves as well. The usual pattern we have seen is that there's always a smaller wave, and then if there's a trigger, then we have a bigger wave. In the second wave, there was another small one around September, and there's a big one. Please go back. Okay, now, then this one is the longest period we're able to stay between a wave and another spike. And that's why we are saying that we still have the opportunity to avert this one. Because if we are not able to avert it and it moves into the escalating phase, then we will have a major wave on our hands. Because in the other countries where they've had their third wave, the numbers are bigger than their second and their first wave. But if you look at the next slide, you can also see that the number of active cases, which peaked about 8,000 a few months ago, is now edging upwards, and there's a need to take care of that.
Still on health, the Director General of the Ghana Health Service has revealed that it is not safe to close down schools, although 367 schools in the country have experienced positive cases. According to him, over 2,000 cases have been recorded in schools, and this has been occasioned by the complete disregard for coronavirus protocols. He made this known in a press briefing here in Accra.
The next slide shows you not only the numbers, but also the schools we are dealing with. Ahafo has 2 active cases. Ashanti region, 151 active cases. Greater Accra is 75, because most of the Achimota cases have all recovered. Bono has 1, Bono East has 1, and OT has 8 active cases amongst the students. Volta region has recorded the highest total number of cases for students, and that's about 512 cases. And Northeast still remains the only region that has not recorded any case. Let's focus more on Ashanti. Ashanti has had, in the last few weeks, a large number of schools outbreak. University of Winneba and the Kumasi has had 30 cases. Asantuma, 28 cases. Senior High and Technical School, 20. Agunas SDA, 18. Efia Kobe, 16. KNUST, 10. And other schools have recorded 29. So that tells you that Ashanti, but what we have also discovered in our search when we went to do a response was an apparent disregard for the protocols that was instituted at the time the schools were reopened. We can also see that the schools that are still abiding by them are still being able to avoid the outbreak. And so we're using this platform to appeal to teachers and everybody to ensure that the protocols are adhered to. And I can tell you for example fact that even when you go there, even the teachers, some teachers are not wearing the mask. And so I think it's something that we need to be blunt about, and people must sit up. Bono has 1 case from the school, 1 in Kintampo, and then Achimota. There's 75 at the Achimota, which is still the active cases which we are trying to address. I think it goes on and on, but these are the core schools that have had issues.
Well, the Parliamentary Committee probing why the Minister of Health, Kweku Agyeman-Manu, procured Russian Sputnik V vaccines through middlemen unlawfully, prefers punitive action be taken against the Minister. Committee members who simply could not understand why the Minister did not refer to Parliament for approval on such an international agreement and acted contrary to Section 41 of the Constitution has called for punitive actions against the Health Minister.
So it's up to him to tell us where they got their powers from. So let's clear this point before we go on.
In respect of this whole transaction, as a lawyer, what steps you took?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. As we were confronted with the emergency situation as declared under the EI 61, I had a responsibility to support my Honorable Minister to meet the duty that he was confronted with. So in the circumstance, we needed to get the medication in, and we go according to the established procedure. So it was on that basis that we proceeded. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
So are you saying that you wrote to the AG for opinion on the basis of?
That is so, Honorable Chair. We needed to be guided by the AG and assisted, and that is why we quickly wrote to the AG, and our attention was drawn to the fact that we needed to come to your honorable selves, and we were taking steps to do so, Honorable Chair. Thank you.
So where are you going to come to us for ratification?
Honorable Chair, yes, we were. And as my Honorable Minister said, we had indications of emerging issues. So, and as Honorable Chair said, we still have to come because we still have outstanding issues. we will comply accordingly, Honorable Chair.
We still stay on health-related matters, and Ghana currently has about 3,466 active cases of the virus. This is more than double from the beginning of July, when Ghana had 1,573 active cases of the virus. Overall, some 99,734 cases of the virus, with 817 deaths since the March 2020. Well, in the country's vaccination efforts so far, 1,271,393 doses have been administered, while 405,971 persons have received first and second doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Earlier today, on the Ghana Afternoon, Ghana Group Leader, Global Health and Infectious Disease Research Group at the KCCR, Dr. John Amwesi, noted Ghana was already having a third wave of the COVID-19 infections. Contrary to government's position, here are excerpts of the COVID-19 discussion on Good Afternoon Ghana with Francisca Kakrafosin.
As the number of COVID-19 cases in Ghana keeps rising, health experts are divided on whether or not Ghana is battling a third wave of the deadly pandemic. Contrary to the stance of government, group leader with the Global Health and Infectious Diseases Research Group at the KCCR, Dr. John Amwesi, says Ghana already is.
A wave is a surge. So I think it really is a semantics. When you have a surge or when you have a wave, you do have a surge. And if you look at our figures over the past 3 weeks, especially if you see the angle or the steepness of the angle of the rise of this surge, it is very clear that it is more than just a simple surge. It is indeed a wave.
However, Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Esiedu-Bakwin, believes adhering to the COVID-19 protocols is all that matters.
So what we are saying is that this could be a beginning of a third wave, or it could be similar to the one that we had in early November. If we do not wholly adhere to the protocols, then the system will be overwhelmed, and that will lead to that kind of wave that maybe what Amwesi will classify as a third wave.
He further noted Ghana is expected to take delivery of over 1 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines before the end of August.
We have the capacity to pick on more vaccines, and that's the reason why we're receiving over 1 million doses of Pfizer in the next few weeks from the COVAX facility. The Africa, the AU is also getting us a number of the J&J. What I can say for now is that hopefully by the end of July or early August, the Pfizer, which is the over 1.3 million doses in. Our main focus is that we're going to focus on our hotspot regions, basically focusing also on areas with high population density.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Health Service has revealed that the country's COVID-19 active cases have increased by 342 within 2 days. According to the service in its latest update, active cases as of July 17 stands at 3,466.
You're watching NEWSNIGHT on Metro Television. Let's go for a quick break. We are back with more stories. Stay with us.
License AC, Tresse, it will gold-plated things. Yet the copper pipes pa pebi na ye. Gasia, and for how biam roda sanibia, and a goom. And yet the day, Tansu of 4-in-1 filter system. 80 from a free mubano. Aye kroji. AC, yet the horsepower neto. License kasa aye 2.5. Aye 2.5. Kululu pianim. Yet the abapiamo. Aye Hisense AC super promo. Date near 26 July. Akobim 8 August 2021. Upe Asia Efe. Na eche. Na chili. Na nche power. Aye Hisense AC. Comfort to yemi. 26 July. Akobim 8 August. Madam Hisense. Matiti Suse. Who? 5 years warranty. Eda Sutia. Hisense and Kwane to me yes amount. Hisense. Everyday prices for everyday people.
The search for a reliable partner in dealer sale of Camel car batteries, Weichai and Kia spare parts, Zonton coaches and light-duty vehicles for everyday movement. At www.saautomobilegh.com. SA Automobile, the pleasure of doing business with you is all ours.
Welcome back to the program. Let's bring you more stories. And President Akufo-Addo has, in accordance with the Constitution, asked Commissioner of Police George Akufo-Dampare to serve as Acting Inspector General of the Police. This was after he directed the IGP, James Opon-Bueno, to embark on his terminal leave pending his retirement from the police service. COP George Dampare takes office from Sunday, August 1, 2021. The president has also replaced the Director General of the Ghana Prison Service, Patrick Dako Mesa, with Deputy Director General of the service, Isaac Kofi Ejuru. Isaac Ejuru is to act as the Acting Director General of the Prison Service until a new Director General is appointed. The new Prison Service boss also assumes duty on August 1.
Now, let's bring you more about the new acting IGP, who is Dr. George Akufo-Dampare. And George Akufo-Dampare has been with the Ghana Police Service for 32 good years. He holds a PhD in finance, was also an adjunct lecturer at the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, GIMPA, and at the University of Cape Coast in Ghana. He joined the service as the constable and rose to the highest rank of Commissioner of Police, becoming one of the youngest police officers to have attained this in recent years. And then he continued his education from several institutions. He joined the service and then later came as the Director General of Finance. Other institutions that he has attended with the University of Professional Studies. He also has the Director of Welfare at the Police Service. He became Director General of ICT and then commands Police Command Staff of College at the Crack Regional Police Commander. He is currently the Director General of Operations of the service. And things we know about him was that he was also a Special Assistant to the Regional Commander in the United Nations Mission in Bosnia-Herzegovina. In Cape Coast Municipal Police Commander. Also in the service, he is an accountant finance officer of the Ghana Police Service. So from August next month, Dampare becomes the Acting Inspector General of Police.
We're working the lines to speak with the security expert, Adams Bona, on what this means for Ghana's security architecture and its structure going forward. As and when we reach him, we'll bring you that conversation. But let's move on, do some other stories where the Minister of Finance, Kenneth Ofori-Atta, has referred Parliament to the National Security Ministry to provide details on President Akufo-Addo's recent trips to Europe and South Africa. According to him, the President's domestic and international travels are matters of national security. Hence, the ministry cannot provide any financial details on the trip.
Ask the Honourable Minister for Finance how much the President's recent official travels to France, Belgium and South Africa in May this year cost the Ghanaian taxpayers.
The Chief of Staff works with the National Security Secretariat to facilitate the safe coordination of the President's travels. So there's obviously interactions between them as to how much is to be spent on that. Mr. Speaker, this Honourable House is also well aware of national security implications of various activities that are done, and that is why they have certain protocols of national security. Mr. Speaker, all things may be All things may be permissible, but not all things may be beneficial. And it's therefore always the House knowing what it is that they have to do in camera and what they do not have to do in camera, which leads us to this. Mr. Speaker, I still contend that the best placed person to furnish this Honorable House with the details would be the National Security Minister, in which your answers the appropriate answers will be given.
Now, the Minority Caucus is insisting it will use all legal means to compel government to provide details on how much the president spent in renting a private jet for his recent trip to Europe and South Africa. The Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, says he has subsequently filed an urgent question to the Minister of National Security to appear before the House and do the needful.
Since the 1st of June, that the Right Honourable Speaker admitted this question under Order 66, the Finance Minister has consistently been requesting for more time. Remember that the Finance Minister had earlier given indication that he will provide the answers, and so was programmed to respond to the question on the 17th of June. It was in the provisional order paper of the 16th of June. Then on the 17th, he came to Parliament early and sought permission to be granted more time. And he's done that a couple of times. So suddenly, he comes today, the 21st of July. Since the 1st of June, he comes the 21st of July, after several weeks, to tell us that we should go to the Minister for National Security. Very shocking indeed. This is clearly a government that is seeking to cover up, is seeking to conceal, is refusing to disclose the full cost of this profligate luxury travels. Now, the other question that arises is that I refer you to the Honourable Minister for Defence's response to the first leg of our question. You recall that the Honourable Minister for Defence took responsibility that when it comes to presidential travels, particularly relating to presidential jets and all of that, it is referred to them and that they are responsible, because the communication squadron is under the Ministry of Defense. Today, we are being referred to national security and all of that. So you see the government confusion. The attempt to cover up is rather exposing them.
So for the minister to appear before us and refer the matter again to the minister responsible for national security and the chief of staff, we find it unacceptable. We urge our minister responsible for finance to come back once again to revisit the powers that he has, because he has every power. He's the supervising minister for all financial matters in this country. So it is very unfair for him to have come to Parliament and made a categorical statement that he's not in a position to provide us that information. In fact, the matter is even worse when you decide to look at how GIFMIS operates. The GIFMIS system is so simple. If before they spend on anything, you have to initiate it. The Minister of Finance will have to accept it before a warrant will be issued, and the money before you can even draw down on the money.
Well, the Majority Caucus in Parliament, on the other hand, says Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa is only seeking to malign the integrity of the Finance Minister and subject his personality to ridicule. Deputy Majority Leader Alexander Penyo-Markens intimates that his government is rather promoting good governance and working to improve on the living conditions of Ghanaians.
Our rules are clear that ministers answer questions that are under their official line of duty. So you cannot ask the Minister of Finance, because he's a Minister of Finance and he has released money to the Water Resources Ministry, he should come and answer questions that relate to how monies are spent at the Water Resources Ministry or at the Defense Ministry. So you see, it must also be emphasized that all the supplementary questions by Honorable Ablakwa were overruled by Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker had the occasion to call him to order. So for him to come out to raise issue that has to do with lack of transparency is neither here nor there.
Suffice to state that he himself had provided figures, and he put these figures out there on his social media handle. Where did he get those figures from? If indeed he already has the figures, the cost, then why is he asking the Minister of Finance to provide figures? So there is a whole lot of political mischief. The aim of his press conference is to tarnish the hard-won reputation of the Minister of Finance. It is for political point scoring, and I am saying that if he is minded to know the facts, the opportunity is there for him to file a question to the National Security Minister to come and answer. There is no attempt by government to hide information from anybody. In fact, the Minister of Finance never asked for time. I repeated it on the House floor during Business Committee report presentation, that it was Mr. Speaker who directed that at the right time those questions will be tabled.
Let's move to other stories. The National Insurance Commission has presented a check of 300,000 cedis to the Ghana National Fire Service to enable it complete its ongoing 3-story forensic laboratory. When completed, the service hopes to use scientific methods to determine the origin and clear cause of fire incidents from the public safety.
One of the challenges of the Ghana National Fire Service is to determine the origin and clear cause of fire incidents in the country. The ongoing forensic laboratory at the Ghana National Fire Service, funded by the National Insurance Commission, is the first of its kind since the establishment of the service in 1963. When completed, the service hopes to use scientific methods to determine the clear cause of fire. Deputy Chief Fire Officer JULIUS received the check of 300,000 Ghana cedis for the completion of the forensic laboratory.
With the establishment of a forensic laboratory, effective scientific method will be used to identify the cause of incidents, including fire, clearly, and not merely classified as accidental and the true cause gone unnoticed. We are confident that with the enhanced scientific method of investigation, substandard products will be recalled from the markets, and many more fires that could have resulted in the use of such substandard products could have been prevented.
The Deputy Commissioner of the National Insurance Commission, Michael Kofi ANDOH, says establishment of the forensic laboratory will help the Commission price the fire risk properly.
For us as insurers, it will help us to price the fire risks properly, and it will help us in our claims administration. We don't have claimants here, but some people who have made fire claims before would tell you that sometimes the fire claims take a long time in coming, and that is because they need to identify what caused the fire. And a lab like this would make it faster and easier for us to do this. So as I said, we are in the same business, and so this collaboration which started is going to continue, hopefully until the lab is completed.
The presentation of the check of 300,000 Ghana cedis follows an initial amount of 500,000 Ghana cedis presented by the National Insurance Commission when the laboratory project first started. This amount will enable its completion.
A strong advocate of the Alternative Dispute Resolution Program, the ADR program, and Justice of the Appeal Court, Irene Charity Labi, says the ADR is the best intervention to ease the pressure on the regular court system. According to her, educating clients to appreciate the efficacy of the ADR will help to expeditiously bring to an end protracted disputes between parties. She was speaking at the launch of the third quarter of the ADR Week program for this year's legal year at Bogatanga in the Upper East region.
Speaking on the theme, making our courts user-friendly through the use of ADR, the judge said the ADR is not just an extension of the automatic restrictions imposed by statute law, but would aid in cutting the cost of litigation on matters that were amenable. She indicated the ADR would be the best alternative for some civil cases where publicity would defeat the object of the hearing.
ADR has been a core component in our education system like it is now. They would have gone to the ADR, come up with a beautiful terms of settlement from the parties involved, and that would have been the end. And they would have enjoyed the fruits of their discussions at the ADR and the terms of settlement while they were alive. But at the time that this case was determined and it went to the Supreme Court, the parties never knew the end of their cases, as at the time God called them good.
Labi highlighted other advantages of the ADR and encouraged lawyers to advise their clients to subscribe to referring cases to it.
Disputes within families, neighbors, tenants, business associates, in the workplace. Instead of letting the matter escalate, they learn how to use what they learned at the ADR in resolving the dispute that was before the court. They take it home, they take it into their businesses, they take it into the workplace, and they use it to resolve matters so that they don't get out of hand.
The national coordinator for the ADR, Alex Nate, who spoke to the press, noted the ADR was constituted by mediators with enormous experience and proven integrity.
ADR practice is normally a secondary skill acquisition. So we have various, we have professors, we have lawyers, we have social workers, we have teachers, across the board. Anybody with any background who decides to offer himself for training for the practice of ADR and arbitration qualifies. And so we have a cross-section of professionals involved in ADR practice.
So far, the ADR program has been extended to 131 courts in the country, with at least 5 assigned to each of the courts.
You're still watching NEWSNIGHT here on Metro Television. We're taking a break. When we return, Winston will be here to give us updates with all the business stories.
Did you know that cloth handkerchief gets dirty and wet after wiping your sweat or blowing your nose with it? Keeping a dirty handkerchief in your pocket or bag is very unhygienic. Reusing it increases your chances of getting sick from germs. That is why I always use Flora disposable handkerchiefs. Flora disposable handkerchiefs is disposable, thus making it a more hygienic option. It's thick and very absorbent. With 10 tissues in a pack, Flora disposable handkerchief is better than a cloth handkerchief. Mommy, the Flora toilet roll, Flora multi-purpose paper towels, Flora table napkins, and Flora box tissues in a shop near you. For both purchases, call Delta Paper Mail on 0243 033 033. In Ghana and in Africa, there is only one place to look to get that luxurious design and decor for your offices and homes. Visit Jamila Home. We give you the climax of luxury wherever you find yourself. Presidential and executive office furniture, living room sets, dining set, stunning mirrors, adorable wallpapers, lovely king and queen size beds, valuable antiques and antique goods, beautiful chandeliers and more. Into the bargain, we provide caring customer service, prompt delivery service, skilled and artistic full house design and decor services, and free decor ideas for your space. Our products and service is unparalleled, boasting of top-tier clients all over the globe. Jamila Home, home of first-class quality furniture, beautiful chandeliers, and antiques.
You're still watching Newsnight here on Metro Television. Remember, our bulletin is live on Facebook and YouTube, and I handle Metro TV Ghana. Winston Taki is in the studio with all the updates in business. Hi, Winston.
Hi, Nanetri. Thank you, Nanetri. This is Business on Newsnight. I'll be bringing you an update from the Ghana Union of Traders Association saying they'll resist any attempt to change the GIPC law to favor foreign traders. These and more coming to you shortly. Now, in our first story, the Ghana Union of Traders Association says it will resist any attempt by the government to amend the existing Ghana Investment Promotion Center laws to favor foreign traders. The President, Dr. Joseph Obeng, said this at a press briefing in Accra, reported by Alberta Bisiu of Metro TV.
Right Honorable Agbon visited the Nigerian Parliament early this month and announced a review of the GIPC Act 2013, Act 865, which will permit Nigerian retailers to trade in the Ghanaian market.
Recent and emerging security imperatives necessitate that while we seek to deepen cooperation among citizens of our two countries, we must not fail to prevent opportunists from taking undue advantage of loopholes in our systems that might tend to jeopardize the economic fortunes of our respective countries.
Meanwhile, President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obeng, has expressed disappointment in the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Agbon Bagwen. He said the Speaker has no right to amend the laws.
We will not accept the use of the Nigerian prohibition list as a leverage to seek amendment of our sovereign law. It is totally unjust, unacceptable, and simply bullish. I want to remind the Ghanaian Parliament that when they made the law, it included the Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Babin. They made this law in their time. And it is indictment on him, or for that matter, any other person, to call traders opportunists when we are referring to the laws that they've prepared. We deem it as an insult for us to be called opportunists in a foreign land.
He further made some proposed solutions for government to consider, which he believes will ensure peace.
If we have to amend this law at all, then what we are saying is that the law should be amended to read like this: that for having signed into the Continental Free Trade Area, for having signed into ECOWAS protocol, any citizens of member states who trade in goods and services that are produced in these countries are exempted from this act. And this will bring finality and clarity to this whole impasse. Because if they are here trading the goods that are manufactured in their countries, it is universally accepted by the protocols, by Ghana, by everybody, and by us, the trading community. That is what we do. They can be in the retail sector and they will be welcomed. But they cannot come here and import goods that is forbidden by these treaties. These treaties do not allow.
A joint communique between Ghana and Nigeria on the side of extraordinary ECOWAS summit will exempt Nigerians from the $1 million minimum capital requirement under the GIPC Act 2013, Act 865. Alberta Bisiu reporting for Metro.
According to the chief statistician of the Ghana Statistical Service, Professor Samuel Kobina Enim, the producer price inflation rate for June 2021 was 10.1%, with a monthly change rate of 1.1%. The utilities subsector recorded no inflation rate for June 2021.
Producer price inflation for the month of June 2021 was 10.1%. This indicates that general prices of goods and services from the producer's perspective has gone up by 10.1 percentage points between June 2021 and June 2020. This indicates a 1.7 lower producer price inflation relative to the PPI that was recorded for the month of May 2021. On a monthly basis, producer price inflation for the month of June 2021 stood at 1.1 percentage points. This indicates that from the producer's perspectives, between May 2021 and June 2021, prices of goods and services have gone up by 1.1 percentage points. On a year-on-year basis across the three sectors, i.e. the manufacturing, mining and quarrying and utilities sectors, we had the manufacturing subsector recording the highest producer price inflation of 12.8%. And this was closely followed by mining and quarrying 9.5% and distantly followed by utilities 0.1%. On a month-on-month basis, from a sectoral point of view, we again saw the manufacturing sector leading by 1.8 percentage points. We did not see any change between May 2021 and June 2021 from the utility subsector. And indeed, we recorded a deflation from the producer's perspective within the mining and quarrying subsector with a deflation figure of 1.1%.
Now, on the interbank board today, the dollar is selling at 5 cedis 79 pesos, while the pound sterling has dropped by 0.08 pesos to sell at 7 cedis 92 pesos. On commodities market, the lack of rain in Brazil is a bullish factor for coffee prices to sell at $167.75. Also, a decline in global crude oil stored in oil tankers throughout the world caused the price drop to $68.81. Now, let's bring you update from the forex and commodities market. That's it for business. My name is Winston Taki. Crosby and Anna Entry standing by for the rest of the bulletin.
Winston, always good to have you bringing us details in business. You're watching NEWSNIGHT. We're back with sports news after this.
Accra, commercial capital of Africa, will host the 5th Ghana International Trade and Finance Conference, GITFIC, on the 27th of July 2021 at the Movenpick Ambassador Hotel in Accra at 9 a.m. prompt. This year's theme is Facilitating Trade and Trade Finance in AFCFTA, the role of the financial services sector. The event will host continental dignitaries including AU Commissioner for Trade, Industry and Mining, the Governor of the Central Bank of Ghana, the Governor of the Central Bank of Francophone West Africa, the Governor of the Central Bank of Francophone Central Africa, Director General of WAMI, ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, the African Development Bank, Ghana's Commissioner for Insurance and several others within the trade and finance space of Africa's economies. The 5th International Conference will be opened by His Excellency Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, and moderated by Mr. Prince Moses, General Manager, Asasi Radio. Critical and urgent continental issues on the Pan-African payment and settlement system within the AFCFTA and others will be discussed with apt solutions to influence regional and continental policies. Proudly sponsored by the Bank of Africa, the Bank of Ghana, GIZ Support Project for the AFCFTA and Asasi Radio. Visit www.gitfic.com to learn more and stay tuned in to Asasi Radio for more updates.
Welcome back. My name is Phil John Quarter. It's time for sports. For the third time in the history of Olympic Games, a city in Australia will host the rest of the world. Brisbane was given the hosting rights for the 2032 Olympic Games.
Hundreds of people gathered at the riverside precinct of South Bank, erupting in cheers as Queensland State Capital was confirmed as host city during an IOC session televised on a big screen. Brisbane had been the preferred host, earning repeated praise from the IOC for its high percentage of existing venues, support from all levels of government and the private sector, experience in organising major events, and its favourable weather, among other things. Brisbane's selection means Australia becomes only the second country in the world after the United States to stage Summer Olympic Games in 3 different cities. Brisbane becomes the third Australian city to get the Games after Melbourne in 1956 and Sydney in 2000.
Never in my lifetime did I think this was going to happen. We've done it Queensland, we've done it Brisbane. This is fantastic, it's amazing. Tonight is your night. Enjoy.
Brisbane is a place that has been through a lot. It's been through natural disasters and floods, but it's always had that determined spirit and ambition. And today it is Brisbane's time to shine. This is a new era for Brisbane, but also a new era for the Olympic movement as well. We are so excited with this new model. The lower cost games, but supersizing the benefits. It's going to be so great for our city, our region and our state.
Yeah, I'm thrilled on behalf of the Australian Olympic movement, the opportunity that this presents to all of our sports, to the next generation of athletes, to our Indigenous programs. And I'd like to thank our partners, the federal government, the Brisbane City Council and the Queensland government for taking this challenge up, for working with us, and we look forward to continuing this team over the next 11 years. And thanks everyone for your support.
It's also an exciting moment for the International Olympic Committee because we're with Brisbane.
Let's now focus on athletics here in Ghana. And a former chairman of the Ghana Athletics Federation, JULIUS, is urging the President of the Republic of Ghana to intervene in the suspension of Martha Bisu.
Hazakes ladies will be playing in the CAF Women's Championships League zonal qualifiers in Côte d'Ivoire this month, and as part of Glyco's corporate social...
A grave injustice. A grave injustice. As a human rights lawyer, who he is, if he was not the president, I would have hired him as a lawyer to go and defend Martha Bisu's case in court. I am worried. She won Ghana's only gold medal. By now, she should have been world champion, world record holder. I'm worried about her future. Having sanctions on you for 6 years and counting spoils your achievements, any future achievements, any future gains. And it's incredible that the Ghana Athletic Association keeps this ban, this illegal ban, because they did not go through proper due process to enforce this ban. I always tell Martha, do what you want to do. I will never advise you on what to do.
JULIUS is the former chairman of the Ghana Athletics, urging the president to intervene in the Martha Bisu issue regarding her ban with the Ghana Athletics Federation. Let's move on to football now and focus on Hazakes, who will be playing to Abidjan for the WAFO CAF Champions League qualifier, and they've received an insurance package here in Accra.
Hazakes ladies will be playing in the CAF Women's Championships League zonal qualifiers in Côte d'Ivoire this month, and as part of Glyco's corporate social responsibility, presented an insurance package worth 150,000 Ghana cedis to cover the 30-team contingent that will travel to the neighboring country. This covers eventualities including injury and death. Presenting the package, Kukwa Apre, the acting group head in charge of corporate affairs and marketing, urged the team to make Ghana proud and also qualify for the main tournament scheduled for November in Egypt this year.
So the 30-member team that we were informed about, all of them are going to be covered. So ladies and then the gentlemen of the team, please go out there, give off your best, knowing that you are cushioned by Glyco. So this insurance cover covers both death and personal accidents.
Chief Executive Officer of Hazakes Ladies, Evelyn Nsiansare, expressed gratitude to Glyco and assured the team would go all out to make the country proud.
Again, Glyco, this is the first of its kind, and we are not going there to disgrace the nation. It is an opportunity given to Hazakes And then if we are able to make a mark, next year it wouldn't be only Hazakis, but we might go with another team. So we thank you so much for honor done us this afternoon. And we believe that other corporate social responsibilities will also be done.
Meanwhile, Accra House of Folk, that's the new champions of Ghana football, today receive a package from the late President John Natta Mills on the occasion of his birthday. He would have been 77 years today. We'll bring you that story later in our subsequent bulletin. My name is Phil John Quote. Harriet is standing by for the latest in showbiz. Harriet.
Thank you, Johnny. It's time for showbiz on Newsnight. There's more. Rising Ghanaian musician Black Sherif is getting the attention of his lifetime on the Ghanaian music scene as he has become a favorite of most music lovers following the release of Sermon series. His latest song, Second Sermon, since its release 5 days ago, has garnered over 1 million views on YouTube and has been streamed over 1 million times on Audiomark. Sharing his excitement and appreciation to his fans on social media, the Money Hitmaker posted, "We did it, guys. We hit 1 million views in 5 days. I'm so grateful for the love and support. I do appreciate you guys so much." Now, Canadian singer Justin Bieber has made history after becoming the youngest solo artist in history to notch 100 entries on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. Bieber reached the milestone at 27 years old, dethroning Drake, who previously held the record after getting his 100th entry at age 28.
The Billboard Hot 100 is the music industry standard record chart in the United States for songs published weekly by Billboard magazine. Chart rankings are based on sales, radio play, and online streaming in the United States. Justin Bieber becomes the youngest solo artist in history to earn 100 career entries in the Billboard Hot 100 thanks to the debut of Stay this week. He reaches the mark at 27 years and 4 months old. He passes Drake, who reached the mark at 28 years and 11 months old in 2015. Justin Bieber has now earned 100 total entries on the Hot 100. He becomes the youngest artist to achieve this milestone. According to Billboard, Bieber accomplished this record-breaking achievement with the song Stay that he's on with the Kid Laroi. That song currently sits at number 3 on the chart. Before Bieber passed Drake, the artist who previously sat below Drizzy as the second youngest artist to reach 100 songs on the chart was Lil Wayne, who accomplished the feat at 29. Bieber also joins a rare company sitting behind Drake, Lil Wayne, Taylor Swift, Future, Nicki Minaj, Kanye West, Chris Brown, and Jay-Z as the only artists with triple-figure Hot 100 hits in their career.
Well, that's it for entertainment news on Newsnight. My name is Harriet Addy. Over to Crosby and Nana for the rest of the news.
Thanks so much, Harriet, for bringing us entertainment. This is Newsnight. We're also live on DSTV channel 277. Let's bring you some news across the Ghanaian border. On the foreign front, Britain safely recovered groups of migrants on the English Channel on Wednesday, July 21, after announcing beefed-up border patrols along with France. The two nations have agreed to deploy more police and invest in detection technology on the French coast to try to stop boats carrying illegal migrants from reaching British shores.
Britain will help fund the measure, which also include financing more migrant shelters in France and invest 62.7 million euros between 2021 and 2022, the country said following a meeting between French Interior Minister Gerald Damanis and his British counterpart, Priti Patel.
That's how I draw the curtains down on today's edition of Newsnight. We came to you from Kuyaboima Studios on Dr. Isset Street, North Region, Accra. My name is Noble Crosby Annan.
My name is Nana Iwantwi. Thanks for your time.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
Are you tired as a consumer in Ghana when it comes to issues that confront you as a consumer? Worry no more. KOFI Capital, I'm here to give you the information, all that you need to make sure that your right is protected as a consumer. We have too many laws and agencies that should protect the right of the consumer. I'm here to give you the information that will help and assist you to get goods and services delivered to you without any worries. Watch the Capital Show on Metro TV.
Bringing you Africa's creme de la creme's classiest hangouts, award shows, end-of-year parties, wedding, graduations, birthdays, fashion or corporate events. Metro Social has got you covered.